So today we're going to talk about my 5 favorite neighborhoods here in Santo Domingo. Not the 5 best neighborhoods, but my 5 favorite neighborhoods here in Santo Domingo. So this is subjective. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. It's my opinion. You can have your own, okay? We're going to talk about my 5 favorite. But now, some of these neighborhoods may fall into the best neighborhoods here in Santo Domingo, but hey, it ain't my fault I got good taste, all right? So these neighborhoods are neighborhoods I would recommend to those who are visiting the country, looking for an Airbnb, or those who are coming to live, move here to Santo Domingo. These are the neighborhoods I would recommend them checking out. I would stay in all of these neighborhoods in a heartbeat. And not because I know that they're safe neighborhoods, but because of the convenience that all these neighborhoods have, where you're pretty much in close proximity of everything you need, whether it's a supermarket, a bank, a pharmacy, or shopping centers. And not to mention what I previously said, I consider them very safe. So let's start off with the first neighborhood, which is my neighborhood that I live in, and that's Naco. Now, before I moved here, I don't remember hearing a lot about Naco. Piantini was a neighborhood I actually heard about most and wanted to move there. But once I started doing research about Naco, I realized Naco was a great area also. Matter of fact, what I've been told that Naco was Piantini before Piantini, meaning this was one of the first, I'm not gonna say the first, but from what I've been told, one of the first upper middle class neighborhoods here in Santo Domingo. And the way it was explained to me is when you moved on up and you landed in Naco back in the day, that was the deluxe apartment in the sky. Now, if you know that analogy, all right? So let's talk about some of the hotels that you can stay in if you decide you want to stay in Naco. One of them is the Embassy Suites. It's located on Ave Tiradentes. The other one is the Radisson, which is also located on Ave Tiradentes. Those are the 2 American brand hotels that you can stay in Naco. I've seen some smaller hotels here or apartment hotels that you can stay in, but those are some of the top American brand hotels here in Naco. So let's move over to restaurants. So restaurants, you have a Applebee's here, which is connected to the Embassy Suites as the reason why a lot of people who visit Naco actually stay in that Embassy Suites, because you can go downstairs, you got an Applebee's right there. So Applebee's is here. One of my favorite restaurants here is also Central Gastronomy. You've heard me talk about Central Gastronomy a lot. I love their picanha. I'm not gonna get into it because I get hungry and I'll head out right after I finish recording this video and go buy me one of those picanha steaks. So Central Gastronomy is really a good restaurant. You also have Mr. Grill, which is nice. Also, really sleek restaurant. Looks really classy. The prices are average. You can get you a nice entree for around 15 US dollars. That's about 700 to 800 pesos here. So those are some of the restaurants here in Naco. Now, I can't name all the restaurants, so don't tell me, hey man, you forgot this one. No, I didn't. I just can't name all of them. The video will be an hour long if I start naming every restaurant that's here in Naco. Naco is filled with restaurants. So what are some of the supermarkets here in Naco? You'll find a Supermercado Nacional. Matter of fact, it's 2 Supermercados Nacionals here in Naco. One is on Ave Tiradentes and the other was on Lope de Vega. They also have a neighborhood supermarket called Amigos here, and they just built a new Bravo here, which is located on JFK, which is really nice. I went in the other day, I was like, man, this place is nice. So we now have a new Bravo here in Naco. And you're asking yourself, is there any shopping here in Naco? Unfortunately, there are no malls that are located in Naco, but the malls are not that far from here. The closest ones are going to be no more than 2 or 3 miles from you, and we'll get into where those malls are located. But there is a business center that they have here in Naco. It's called Nova Centro. And so if you're a business professional, you're looking for some office space, this is more of a building that is dedicated more so to office space and have professional businesses in there. But they also do have some stores in there where you can do some shopping, but it's not really a mall. It's more so like a business center. So those are my thoughts about Naco. So the next neighborhood we're gonna talk about is Piantini. You guys know I was not gonna leave Piantini out I love me some Piantini. Piantini has a lot to offer. Most of the time when people come here to visit and they want to stay in the city, they choose Piantini because it's really vibrant, it's really modern, a lot going on in Piantini. Some of the hotels that you may want to consider on your next visit if you want to stay in Piantini is the Holiday Inn, which is located on Ave Abraham Lincoln. This is a really nice Holiday Inn. I know certain Holiday Inns can be suspect in the US, but this is a really nice Holiday Inn. We've been to this Holiday Inn for different events. It's really nice. Also, another hotel is the Intercontinental Hotel, which is located on Al Winston Churchill. It's a very nice hotel. They have happy hour. They got a rooftop with the pool and all that good stuff. And another hotel is the JW Marriott, which is connected to the Blue Mall, which a lot of people go to that hotel or stay at that hotel when they want to stay in Piantini. Really, really nice hotel. So now let's talk about some of the shopping you can do here in Piantini now that I mentioned the JW Marriott being connected to the Blue Mall. So the Blue Mall is one. This is probably one of the most expensive malls here in Santo Domingo, if not the entire country. This is where you find all your upscale brands like Gucci, Prada, Rolex, Louis Vuitton, and all these other names I can't pronounce, you'll find here in the Blue Mall. Another mall that you can go to is Agora Mall, which is probably the most popular mall here in Santo Domingo. And the reason I say that because it's always full, but Agora Mall has plenty of stores. Hey guys, if you want to go somewhere and get your eyes on hard, spend some money, meet some people, go to Agora Mall. Agora is really, really nice. Another mall that's not so popular now, but was actually popular when I first started coming over here is Acropolis Mall. Acropolis is it's a smaller mall, but it still has some stores in it where you can go shopping. Not as, like I said, not as popular now, not as crowded, because everybody now is either in the Blue Mall or Agora Mall or Galleria 360. You can definitely check out Acropolis Mall. Now, what are some of the restaurants that I recommend going to here in Piantini? So you can find some of your high-end restaurants here or some of your just mid-range restaurants. High-end restaurants like Pepperoni, Don Pepe, Turo. You guys know I've been to all those restaurants. I've did videos on them. Or you go to some of these restaurants like SBG Cafe, which is also connected to the Blue Mall. So if you're staying in the JW Marriott, you can go downstairs, go to SBG Cafe, which is really nice. And another restaurant I recommend is La Posta Bar. Yes, it's a restaurant slash bar. The food there to me is great. I like their happy hour also. And guys, like I told you before, they are there. Just go there on a Friday, Saturday night. Definitely check out La Posta, a really, really nice place. Again, I can't name all of the restaurants here in Piantini because, man, I'm missing a whole lot of them that I really love. And another reason why people like Piantini, because it's a lot of American fast food right there on Al Winston Churchill. You can find Krispy Kreme, you can find Papa John's, you can find Popeyes, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King, Domino's. All that right there is on Al Winston Churchill. So when people come here from America, they immediately feel at home in Piantini. And also, I forgot to mention, Naco has some of the same thing there too. They have a Wendy's, a KFC, and as I mentioned, they had an Applebee's. They got a Krispy Kreme, Baskin and Robbins. So when people go to those areas, they sort of feel like home because they see some of the familiar brands when they're in the Naco and Piantini area. So what are some of the supermarkets you can find in Piantini? You can find a Nacional, a La Serena, and a Bravo. Pretty much the same supermarkets you can find in Naco. So let's move on to my next favorite place, and that is Bella Vista. I have grown to love Bella Vista. I really like this area. This is probably my third choice if I had to live somewhere in Santo Domingo. Of course, I like Naco. It'll be a toss between Naco and Piantini as my first because I like Naco. But if I had to put them in order, since I'm still in Naco, I like Naco to be my first choice. Then Piantini, my third would be Bella Vista. Bella Vista is a really nice area. It's actually growing and it's becoming just as modern as Piantini and Naco. I actually spend a lot of time in Bella Vista because I go to the cigar bar over in Bella Vista, so I like the Bella Vista area. What's some of the hotels you can find in Bella Vista? They do have and I'm gonna mess up the name, it's called the Embajador Hotel, Santo Domingo in Bella Vista. Guys, this baby is tucked off in the back, but some of the most prominent people from different countries come and stay in that hotel over there. Definitely a nice hotel to stay in if you're in Bella Vista. And another hotel that's located on Ave Sarasota that's become pretty popular for people who stay in Bella Vista is the W&P Hotel. That's a really nice hotel. They have really, really nice rooms. Matter of fact, on the rooftop, they got a bar lounge that gets packed and crowded on the weekend. It's called Vent Lounge. So if you stay at WP Hotel, you got somewhere to go on the rooftop and you can just stumble back into your room after it's all said and done. So what are some of the restaurants and bars that you can find in Bella Vista? Some of my favorite is La Otra Bar. I like their happy hour. I also like the Brooker Rooftop. Is really upscale, classy. They be in there. And of course, guys, you know I like Fusion Cigar Bar, which is located in Bella Vista. One of my favorite cigar bars here in Santo Domingo. And also one of my favorite Camaros. I know it's not a restaurant or bar, but it's located in Bella Vista and it's called Mimo's. Definitely check out Mimo's when you're in Bella Vista. And also another restaurant I forgot to mention that's in Bella Vista is Chili's, which is another American brand restaurant. Bella Vista is also loaded with different American fast food like Burger King, Wendy's, Little Caesars, and McDonald's. So those are pretty much the ones I can remember off the top of my head. And what I really like about Bella Vista is depending on where you are in Bella Vista, things are really close and certain areas are very walkable. So that's one thing I like about Bella Vista. So consider Bella Vista on your next trip. So my next neighborhood that I recommend is Gazcue. Yes, I like Gazcue. Matter of fact, Gazcue was the first place we came and stayed when we moved here. We lived in Gazcue for a month. And Gazcue was one of those neighborhoods that I was familiar with when I first got here. And the reason why is because Gazcue is that it's like a, how could you categorize Gazcue? Gazcue is like a historic area. You never go to those cities where they have like a historic neighborhood. I don't want to call it an old downtown. You can probably call it old downtown, but it's more of a historic neighborhood where a lot of the governmental offices and places are in that area. So a lot of people know about Gazcue, not only because of that, but because it's close proximity to Zona Colonial. So Gazcue and Zona Colonial connects. So a lot of people when they're visiting and they're booking their Airbnb and they're on the map and they're looking, they can see where Gazcue is and how close it is to Zona Colonial. So Gazcue is a nice neighborhood, and to me, it's also safe. Matter of fact, we were about to rent an apartment in Gazcue before we found this one. But we found this one and we fell in love with this one. So the rest is history. We've been here almost 4 years now. So, but Gazcue also is a really great area. Again, it was a old historic part of the city, but now it's starting to have some brand new towers go up too. So consider Gazcue on your next visit. So if you're traveling to Gazcue, what are some of the hotels that you can stay in? Now, most of the American brand hotels are going to be located on the Malecon. One of them is the Renaissance, which most people know about Hotel Hawaii, which is a very nice hotel. I actually stayed in that hotel the first time I visited here. So another hotel that is not that far from the Renaissance is the Sheraton. We've all heard of the Sheraton Hotel, which is another American brand name, a chain hotel. So what are some of the supermarkets that you can find in Gazcue? Well, one of those supermarkets, of course, Supermercado Nacional. That's the main one that I shopped in when we were living in Gazcue. I don't know of any others that I can think of off the top of my head that are in Gazcue. But if you're living in Gazcue or you're staying in Gazcue, Supermercado Nacional is no more than 1 or 2 miles depending on where you're staying. So what are some of the restaurants and bars that you can go to if you're staying in Gazcue? Well, there's so many restaurants in Gazcue, but here's some of the most popular ones that people go to when they're here. One of them is El Canuco. I think that's how I say El Canuco, something like that. This restaurant is a staple in Dominican restaurant. It serves traditional Dominican food. Another one is Adrian Tropical, which a lot of people go to Adrian Tropical because of the nice views, and it's right there on the Malecon. You can't help but see it if you're coming down George Washington. Adrian Tropical is right there. Also, another one is D. Lewis, which I used to like D. Lewis. I had one bad experience in D. Lewis, and I said, you know what, I'm never going back. But I would not tell you not to visit because I had that bad experience. I just didn't like it. It gave me some bad food, and I just hadn't been back since. But D. Lewis is another popular restaurant. They also have a cigar bar, which is the one that I first started going to when I first got here, named Cameroon, which is right across the street from D. Lewis. They also have another restaurant. It's called Villa Hermanos. Man, that restaurant stays packed, and it's on Ave Independencia. I haven't been there yet, but every time I pass by, it is packed. I'm assuming that the food is great. So those are some of the restaurants that you can find here in Gazcue or in Gazcue. And there are also some bars, I'm sure, that in Gazcue. I haven't been to any bars in Gazcue. If I'm out in Gazcue, in the Gazcue area, and I want to go out, I'll just go to Zona Colonial, which I rarely go, but Zona Colonial will probably be your best bet if you're looking for like bars and nightlife if you're staying in Gazcue, which, like I say, they connect. It's not too far from Zona Colonial. So let's talk about our last neighborhood that I recommend, and that neighborhood is La Esperilla. I hope I said that right. Yes, I like La Esperilla. I would stay in La Esperilla in a heartbeat. I just like the area. Now, one of the difference between La Esperilla and the other neighborhoods that I mentioned is that La Esperilla is more like really a neighborhood, meaning that it's not as busy as the other places I just mentioned. There is a main street that runs through it that can get busy at times, but for the most part, it's a really, really quiet neighborhood. If you're gonna stay in La Esperilla, one hotel that I recommend that's in La Esperilla is the Courtyard by Marriott, which is a nice hotel, and it's located right there on Ave Maximum Gomez. Also, the restaurants that are located in La Esperilla, one that I've been planning to go to is called Boga Boga. I haven't been there yet, but I heard good things about it. And supermarkets located in La Esperilla is Bravo, and they have the Big Nacional that's located on 27, right there on the corner. Everybody pretty much knows about that Nacional. It's kind of like a trademark here in Santo Domingo. And that's the Nacional that I was introduced to when I first started coming here, and I've loved it ever since. So La Esperilla is a nice neighborhood for you to consider when you're coming to Santo Domingo. And what I forgot to mention when I was mentioning restaurants in Gazcue was some of the fast food American type restaurants that are also in the Gazcue and La Esperilla area. Now, La Esperilla and Gazcue are almost like Naco and Piantini. Only thing you do is cross the street. Maximum Gomez separates La Esperilla and Gazcue. So on Maximum Gomez, on the La Esperilla side, you have a McDonald's, a KFC, and a Little Caesars. On the other side of Maximum Gomez, you have a Pizza Hut, a Domino's, and a Taco Bell. So all those restaurants are in the Gazcue and La Esperilla area. So guys, La Esperilla is a good option to consider when visiting Santo Domingo. So those are my 5 favorite neighborhoods that I recommend that you stay when you're visiting Santo Domingo or if you're coming to live. Now there are a few more that I could name, but I don't want to make this video too long. It's already long, but those are the 5 that I personally would live in those neighborhoods if I had to. So guys, that's all I have for today. Leave in the comment section your top 5 neighborhoods. Don't get me to try to change my mind on my top 5 because I'm sticking to what I said, but leave your top 5 in the comment section below. So until then, remember, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present because that's the only way you're gonna live your best life. And I'm out. Peace.
Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing, no.